Look at us go.
Yeah.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Emma. Brooke gave me the necklace, so I love it. And I like that I'm not sweating outside and I can wear it and, it's not stuck to me. So, all right. So Mike is here, everybody. And now we can get the travel agent questions. I guess I'm going to start off by saying happy Dolit Day. Yay.
Yeah, so Janelle, I don't think I'm not seeing, if anybody's commenting on yours, I don't think I'm seeing them.
You're not seeing the comments? So it's only, if you can only see your comments so I'll just tell you if there's a question, but everybody's saying, what's up, Mike?
Well, TikTok amateur here, clearly.
Yeah, so you're only going to be able to see your comment. So we'll just do it. And like I said, I can read what people are asking on this end.
Sounds good.
So Jenny says she saw a video saying that there are new discounts on resorts and tickets.
Let me pull up here. So there are a handful of different promotions going on right now. Let me get logged in real quick. I was logged in, but it kicked me out. There are about a half dozen different promotions going on between now and Christmas.
Okay.
I'm not
but not sure. Specifically on tickets?
Not on tickets, but on resort stays. The only ticket offer right now is the one that's going where you can buy a 4-day park ticket, one park each day. I think it's $99 per day. That's good through about the middle of September. And the blackout dates for Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And you must go to each of the 4 parks on that 4-park day ticket. You cannot do Magic Kingdom twice, for instance.
Okay. How do you get over Disney depression?
You know the answer to that.
I know the answer to that is book your next trip and your next trip after that, and then go on a cruise and then go on another trip.
Exactly.
So, okay, let me see. So Jenny said new discounts on resorts and tickets. So maybe it's the combination.
Yeah. So there's, for Disney World, you've got the 4-day, 4-park magic ticket, $99 per day that I mentioned. There's a save up to 25% on select rooms this summer. There is a Florida residents save up to 30% on rooms this holiday season, October 2nd through December 25th. There's typically almost always discounts if you're a Disney Visa card holder. Visa Chase.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, so there's a variety of different promotions going on through Christmas.
Okay. And just to go back, Megan did have a good point to go get Disney snacks. Go to Target and get Disney snacks and eat them while you're sad at home for your Disney depression.
Yeah. Disney.
I know Megan, we didn't think about that part.
Let's see here. Unicourse asked me if there's any date on when Maribel will be out. Saw that they're doing small construction. I've not seen an announcement on a date yet.
Nope.
For that. Similarly, still don't have a date for Figment.
I was going to say, we don't have a date on any of those things that they announced. So.
Same with the water feature at Epcot.
The water feature at Epcot, I keep seeing videos with the water, like people are showing videos of the water beyond the wall. From in the park, like not on the monorail, like you can see the water coming from on the other side of the wall. And they also did cast member preview. or they put a date out for cast member preview. I don't know what the date was, but it does exist. So, Agatha, good morning. And I don't know of any other dates that have been announced as far as new stuff coming out. Disneyland, yes, they got their San Francisco, Tokyo, but we haven't gotten anything. Yeah, Jenny, I'm hoping it'll be there in September for you too. And then I think we're all thinking that Hatbox, they're closing down Haunted Mansion, and I don't know if we mentioned this last week. They're closing Haunted Mansion 2 days before the party.
Yes, is it like August 1st and 2nd, I think?
Yeah. The 3rd, maybe it's the 3 days, maybe it'll open back up on the 3rd. So we're thinking that's when Hatbox is going to be added. So.
August 7th through the 9th.
Okay, I thought it was right before the party.
Yeah, 7 through 9. The first Halloween party is August 11th.
Yep, that's it.
Surprisingly, Halloween Day is the only party night sold out.
Wow, that's so surprising.
Yeah,
I mean,
this year.
But you know what I'm excited for are the guests that walk in there that have no idea that this is happening and want to actually buy a ticket, and they hopefully will be able to buy a ticket.
That's true.
You know, because every day I remember going in there and somebody would be asking, how do we get into this party? And it wasn't even an option. So if you didn't do it beforehand.
Unfortunately, if you're showing up and not knowing about the party, you may have some serious sticker shock when you see the price.
Well, that's true.
That's $40 more than if you wait 4 days.
Correct. Yep. I'm going on. Let me tell you what date I'm going.
Hi, Brooke, if you didn't hear me.
I think I'm going on the 14th. Is that the Tuesday? I'm going on the next day, because whatever the next party day, it went.
In August?
It went down in price.
In August?
Yeah.
August 15th is the second party day.
Okay, so that'll be the day that I'm going. Okay, so they're saying that the audio sounds weird. Okay, is it okay now?
And is it both of us or just you?
Yeah,
just
it's echoing? I don't have, I can turn.
Where's your IT guy? Okay, Jessica says it's normal for her.
Okay, sounds fine now? Okay. Maybe it was just some sort of a glitch.
And Unicorn said it was not really.
Okay, it's good now. I was going to say, I don't have anything other than my computer open, and I don't have TikTok on, so.
Right, okay. I should rephrase. Jessica said normal here. I don't know if she meant the sound or that she is normal.
Okay. Technology. Okay.
Yeah.
So, good morning, Ronnie. It's okay now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Any other, can we schedule for Disneyland yet, Mike?
Still has not been released for 2024.
Wow.
Did Chris put you up to that question?
No. He didn't, but I just thought I'd ask. Hey, Candy. Hi, Liz.
Let me look one more time. I haven't looked for a couple days.
Okay.
Nope. Cannot go past the 31st.
Okay. Do you have any questions on your end?
Yeah, so let's see. Your first Unicorn said that the echo might have been a small one in your room. Oh, come on, Jessica. You're absolutely normal. Okay, Unicorn, if DAS, so there's a couple of options. course, you can apply for DAS between 2 and 30 days before your arrival. You can do that online with somebody from Disney so that you are pre-approved, and they will schedule your first 2 DAS rides. After that, you still have 2 options. You can go to the Blue Umbrellas and talk to a cast member, and they can schedule your next DAS Pass ride, or you can do it through the My Disney Experience app. From all accounts that I've experienced, and Janelle has more experience than I do, the people in the Blue Umbrellas are absolutely wonderful to work with.
Yeah, you can just walk up. If the wait is too long through the My Disney Experience app, I highly recommend just doing it once you get to the park, and go to the Blue Umbrellas. My experience is there will be a little bit of a line if you get there at park open, because everybody kind of has that idea. But if you were to get there, say at 11, I walk by those Blue Umbrellas all day long and there's no line. You know,
there's a DAS Pass Facebook group, and I go through that. I see a lot of folks in there comment that they found it was easy. But if you're a planner and a pre-planner, then take advantage of doing that before you arrive.
And absolutely, I agree with that. And again, I would just say don't spend so much time on it that it takes up like your entire day. That's just something I wouldn't do.
Yeah. So for me personally, because I am a planner, not just a travel planner, but I'm just in life a planner. Everything I can control ahead of time, I want to control ahead of time so that my time and energy is available and ready for the unexpected. Yep. If that makes any sense.
I understand that. But then there's some of us that just, wing it as we go.
Yeah. Well, when you're with a family that likes to wing it, I have to manage everything I can ahead of time.
Oh no, you've trained them, Mike. You've definitely trained them.
That's true.
I know. Mike, dream along with us. I know what's planning, right? So
there is a balance though between planning / pre-planning and just letting the day flow.
True.
To enjoy what comes. If you can easily overplan, and in doing so, one of 2 things in my experience will happen. You're going to miss some of the magic because you're so focused on your plan, or at the end of your day, end of your trip, you're going to be disappointed because you didn't get things done you'd hope to get done.
Right. I was going to say, I know there's a conversation on my end about electronics and coming into the park and what's allowed and not allowed. And I know everybody's doing a great job helping Agatha out with the parks. And, I'll just say, I see so many people working in the park, whether they're there, I guess, with their family and they had to pull aside and take their iPad out or their computer. Or, I see so many people just sitting at Casey's corner with their laptop, probably having to take care of something real quick. So you can bring every electronic, I guess, that you wanted to, aside from a full gaming monitor into the park. It's okay, yeah. So.
And with that, and of course, I won't skip your question that you asked, but with that, plan for extra time going through security if you've got electronics. They will want to inspect everything. It will set their sensors off when you walk through the security gate.
As far as I know, the only things that aren't allowed are selfie sticks and weapons. Right. I mean, like Mike said, on the side, tripods are fine. Yeah, I mean, all that is okay. Just no selfie sticks.
Yes, and I've had people ask in relation to having your electronics, is there a quiet place where I'll need to take a conference call? You can find some nooks and crannies within the parks that might be somewhat quiet, but it is an amusement park, so you shouldn't expect total silence. If you're at the Magic Kingdom, a good option would be to walk over to the contemporary Janelle is at like the second floor, I think, that has some conference rooms and a lot of quiet space.
Yep.
That's a great option there if you have a conference call you need to take.
Yeah, if you come in on the ground floor, you go up one level. If you come in on the monorail, you just go down one. To go back to the selfie sticks, I will give a good example of what was told to me, like on the Animal Kingdom Safari. People put the selfie sticks out trying to get really close to an animal, and that's a reason why there's no selfie sticks. Or I'm sure during the fireworks, somebody who sticks it way high up in the air and it just distracts the view, or probably on a roller coaster, who knows what it is that they're trying to do a selfie stick with, and it's just dangerous.
I suspect the person doing that for the fireworks actually has a child up on their shoulders first, and then the child's holding the stick.
Or like the other night, tall dad, child, mom holding the umbrella over the child.
Jeez.
It was like the Haunted Mansion, three guys. Like that's how I felt.
Yeah. Yes.
So
absolutely. And we're having a little fun at that, but by all means, if you have little ones and you want to put them up on your shoulders for the shows, great, but stand back behind the crowd. Be polite for those that are there trying to see the show.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Uniquest asks, should someone with the DAS also get Genie Plus? So Uniquest, I'll answer it this way. It's kind of like asking two people if they like hamburgers. One of them is going to say yes, the other one's going to say no. I think it's personal preference. I've seen some people that say you absolutely do not need Genie Plus if you have the DAS. I've had people that said it worked in conjunction with one another and allowed them to do everything they wanted to do.
I think you can get more done, with it both, but that would be a lot to juggle. As far as just keeping on top of it, I think just one of them is enough to juggle. So,
and to comment on that as well, typically the recommendation is for Genie Plus. Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom are the two parks that you should consider getting Genie Plus. So you've already eliminated two of the four parks for Genie Plus. I don't know that you need Genie Plus if you got DAS, even with Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. Jessica, yes, we slightly mentioned Haunted Mansion just a moment ago solely about the stacking of the three heads. There, similar to an experience Janelle had watching the fireworks the other day with the child on dad's shoulders and then the mom holding the umbrella up over top of the child.
Yeah. So Melissa Ann, again, for those DASs, it's a great system. And I think just like Jenny said, basically free Genie Plus. But at the end of the day, I feel like those people who need it should definitely go and apply for it and talk to a cast member. But I will tell you this. If let's just say you didn't want DAS, and I'll tell you my experience yesterday in Festival of the Lion King. I don't like going way high up into the rafters when you come in, if you're in a standby line. And all I did was ask, could I sit on the end? All I did was ask a cast member, and they completely accommodated me. And I didn't have to wait. I waited in the regular line, but they accommodated me once I was in there, as far as not being in the center of all the people up high in the building, because I just didn't like that feeling. So there are so many ways that Disney will accommodate you in whatever your situation is for that moment, if you don't want it for all day or don't need it for all day or anything like that.
Yes, and to piggyback on that, Disney, and Janelle can attest to this, Disney is great about trying to accommodate all requests. However, first, be reasonable with your request, and secondly, understand that if every person of the 100,000 people in the park had a request, they may not be able to accommodate them all, but they will make their best effort to do so.
True. And I feel like even like let's just say Haunted Mansion. If you don't want to go in the stretching room and be in there, but you've waited in this entire line, it's okay. You don't necessarily need to ask because you could stay in the line, but you might not want to be in a tight, closed space feeling trapped, and you can bypass that. And all you have to do is ask a cast member. So there's like I said, there's so many ways around something.
And with that, I've ridden that ride 100 times. When we were there in May and we bypassed that stretching room, I was stunned. I had no idea that was an option.
I didn't either. None. I had no idea either. Just as I didn't know that all I had to do was ask a cast member, hey, I just don't want to be, feeling like I can't get out of, whatever, with all these people. How can I, not be in that situation? And they were like, no problem. No problem.
So my experience with that skipping the stretching room was a realization of if you have struggles or anxiety over something about a ride, ask a cast member. Just let them know, hey, I really can't be in that small room in the stretching room for this example. Is there an option to help me out? You may be surprised. I certainly was.
The other thing like that I always question or like wonder, and I'm sure you can skip it, is Guardians of the Galaxy, the third room where all the lights flash. And if you have like a seizure disorder, I would assume maybe you're not riding the ride, but if you can't be around all those lights, like you have to be able to bypass that room and know that you can't be part of that.
Yeah. I guess the point is, if there's some portion of the pre-show that you struggle with, ask a cast member if there's any mechanism to get you past that. I think about the Haunted Mansion after that experience. If I'd have ridden that as a kid and, as an adult, for instance, and have skipped riding that ride for the last 40 years, I would have missed out because they didn't ask a cast member, is there any option around that?
Right.
Unicourse asked, do people need to stand during the shows and parades, or can they sit if they need to? So Unicourse, the quick answer to that is you absolutely can sit if you need to. The caution there is depending upon where you sit, you may end up having people standing in front of you that you cannot see then. For instance, I know at least there used to be some benches along the parade route down Main Street that you could sit down in if you get there early enough. But inevitably, people will line along the curbs. They may stay seated. You might be able to see. They could possibly stand, and then you would not be able to see. From a parade perspective, if you want to make sure you get the best viewing, you need to line up early so you can sit down on the curb. If you're sitting on the curb, there's not going to be anybody in front of you blocking your view. Janelle has shown this view as well up top on the second floor at the train station. It's also pretty good viewing of the fireworks as well. You can get a great panoramic view of the fireworks as they go off. But I've also seen streams of people that are behind the castle by the carousel for fireworks at night. And there's one definite advantage, one possible advantage. The definite advantage is there aren't very many people back there. In all of the times I've seen video of that, people don't think about being behind the castle for the fireworks. So if you want to see Happily Ever After, but you're hesitant because of the crowds on Main Street, back behind the castle around the carousel is a great place with fewer people. The other one that's a possible benefit, and I say it this way because it's not a given, is that on occasion the princesses will be out wandering around back there by the carousel during the fireworks show. You may run into Jasmine, Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, maybe others.
So yeah, Jenny says the best sitting spots are over by Frontierland, and even in Fantasyland they have those walls where you can sit and just watch. And I will go back to saying just the other day, 3 o'clock Festival of Fantasy, the first row was sitting, and then everybody stood behind. and they did a good job. Fireworks, if you are on Main Street, you will be made to stand up. There is no sitting. There is no anything on Main Street or up near the castle or anything like that. So it's just a hazard.
Janelle, when you say on Main Street, if you're sitting on the curb, you're going to have to stand when the parade comes by?
No. Not for the parade, for fireworks.
Oh, sorry.
Fireworks. Okay. Fireworks is mandatory standing.
Yes.
On Main Street.
Yes, absolutely. But again,
but for the parade, it's sitting on the curb. You can sit on the curb.
Yes. And again, of course, for the fireworks, if you need to sit and stay inside the park, if you get up to that train station early enough, there's some benches up there you can sit. And even if people are standing, the fireworks go up high enough you can see them pretty well. Right. Not a challenge there. Okay, let's see here. I have a couple of questions here. First one, can you sit on the Contemporary Hotel roof for free without going to the restaurant? And Janelle, you can probably answer this better than I can, but I believe the viewing area that's free to anyone is on the 4th floor, which is there's a viewing area out there with some seating, and you can also stand to view the fireworks from there. I don't know if you go to the very top floor where the restaurant is, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the restaurant. I just told you that a couple weeks ago.
California Grill.
Thank you. It was California something. I don't know that you can go up there, walk through the restaurant, and go stand outside to watch the fireworks, though.
So the only way I know that you can get not even around it, but it's allowed, is if you go anytime during the day. I do think that they have lunch. I'm not sure. I know Johnny was just there, but let's just say you went up at 3 o'clock, hi Kate, or 4 o'clock for a drink. If you have your receipt, when it's time for fireworks, you can take your receipt. Or even if you went to dinner at 5:30, you take your receipt, show them, and they will allow you back up. But everybody else, the only way to get on that elevator is to go through the reception desk and explain. I don't know any other way to get up there. I don't know if you can walk the stairs all the way up. That's 15 floors, I guess, if you want to do that. But when I do it, I just go to the 4th floor and then go up the set of stairs and go up about 3 flights, and we watch it from there.
Yep.
Or you can watch it from the Bay Lake Tower walkway. There's
the catwalk between the two resorts.
Yeah.
You can also go over to the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian and stand outside and watch the fireworks from there. Yep. It's a pretty neat perspective.
One of I always forget, and I just did it with my nephew, is when you're walking out at the Grand Floridian on the boat dock, they pipe the music out there. And it wasn't crowded. And there was a breeze. It was so nice. And there are some benches. You would have to get there early to get those benches. But the dock at Grand Floridian was gorgeous to watch from.
Yes. And so I'm going to read the question that was just asked, but I want to go back to the Grand Floridian thing too. So the question is, what's your favorite Disney villain? So put that in your hip pocket for a second, Janelle. Okay. The thing I would mention about Grand Floridian or Poly or Contemporary is simply the fact that there are so many different ways to experience different things at Disney that no two trips are alike when you're down there. And I get people asking me all the time, how many days should I plan to be in the parks if I want to do everything? I've been going for 45 years and I still haven't done everything. So it's impossible to be able to do everything simply because, just like this, you could experience the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom, whether it's Happily Ever After or whatever the next show is down the road, 50 different ways. And it's a different experience each time.
Right. Okay. I have a question, and that is, what is the most overrated resort in your opinion?
Overrated resorts. I'm going to say, I'm afraid to say it because I don't want to turn anybody off.
No, but it's your opinion, and you're
Yeah.
allowed to have. I'll say I think the Grand Floridian is so overrated for what it is.
And I'm going to say the Contemporary.
Okay.
I think the Contemporary, the draw, having the monorail go through it is cool if you've got little kids that first time, but it is the oldest of all of the resorts. It is loud and noisy in there. The monorail does go through it. It's not necessarily the most relaxing, quiet type resort, if you will. The Grand Floridian, I understand your answer, but it still has a pretty amazing ambiance about it that makes it pretty special. Other than the monorail, the Contemporary, I don't know what the ambiance of the Contemporary is.
I agree. So. I feel like if you're weighing Polynesian versus Floridian, like, I don't know, the Polynesian has that Polynesian, feel, and Trader Sam's and all of that.
I might change my answer, actually, Janelle, to the bungalows at the Poly.
There because you
go. they are, I think we've talked about this. Outside of the flight, you could go to, tropical islands and stay in a bungalow over the ocean for less per night than you can at the Poly.
For one night, probably, for the cost of one night. And Jenny did have a point. Like, she had a blast at the Contemporary. She was at Bay Lake. And I agree with you, Jenny, on this point. Just to be able to be in control of walking back and forth to Magic Kingdom is so key to me. Like, even though you're not going to take the monorail, you don't have to worry about any transportation method except for your feet. And I like that about that, hotel.
That is beneficial. And of course, I could twist that a little bit here, and maybe I'll hold that for a second. So let's go back to the Disney villain. Your favorite Disney villain, Janelle?
I'm going to, I guess, say Ursula.
And I will say, I'm going to go with Scar.
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Two very good ones.
Yes. Hooch, in my humble opinion, best fireworks view is behind the castle between Seven Dwarfs and Gaston's Tavern. No projections, though. That's true. You missed out on the projections back there. So if that's important to you and the lighting and all of that down Main Street, you will miss that from behind the castle. But like I said, if you want to see the show inside the Magic Kingdom and you want to avoid crowds, back there is a great place to be.
It's so magical being back there. It just is. And maybe that's just me, and because I've seen it so many times, and it's just different. But if you've seen the show and you've done Main Street several times, I highly recommend going back there. And it's just a different view. It turns out to be like a whole different show.
Yes. And again, can't promise you, but man, if you have a little one, especially a little princess with you, the possibility of having the princesses roaming around back there during the fireworks is a memory you'll never forget.
I would like to say this about that too, and you might not be aware, but like the other night when I was there and it was lightning and drizzling and they still did the fireworks show, the princesses are not going to come out. You have to be aware of the weather. And even if it's not raining and there is lightning, they're not going to come out.
That's right.
So,
Jessica said that Lyle might be her favorite, untraditional favorite, and wanted to know if I knew who he was. I have no idea who Lyle is.
Lyle.
You know, Janelle?
Jenny, that's what we were talking about, the top of the Contemporary for the dining room. Yep, we talked about that.
Oh, Georgia the Jungle is where Lyle
Georgia the Jungle.
Now I got to go look that up.
No
so I was
idea.
going to circle back to Jenny's comment about the Contemporary and the walking and how ideal that is. If you plan to go to the Magic Kingdom as a part of your trip or multiple times to the Magic Kingdom, that's valuable.
Right.
You'd probably know this, Janelle. I'm a massive Skyliner fan.
I
from a
know.
transportation perspective. So if you stay at Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach Resort, or the Riviera, you're going to two of the four parks on the Skyliner. And I know people get freaked out about the line at Epcot at the end of the night for the Skyliner. That thing moves 5 times faster. The line does 5 times faster than waiting for the buses at the front of the park. First off,
Right.
secondly, and this is an advantage that I really try to promote because people miss out on. If you have little ones, like in a stroller, little ones, if your kids are like mine, at the end of the park night, they're zonked
I
out.
know.
And so you get to the front of the bus line and you got 35 bags of merchandise with you and your popcorn bucket and whatever else. And now you got to pick up a 30-pound child who's dead asleep that weighs 50 pounds when they're asleep and fold up your stroller and climb into the bus. Two of those four parks, that problem goes away with the Skyliner. You just push your child right onto your Skyliner gondola in their stroller. They stay asleep. You're not having to fumble with anything. And it's
Right.
Murphy's Law. You can fold your stroller 1,000 times in a row without a problem. But as soon as you get to the front of that bus, that sucker won't fold to save your life.
Right. Or a kid wakes up and starts screaming or whatever, you know.
So that's an advantage of the Skyliner with little ones, not having to fold up the stroller, which is nice. Even in the morning, I mean, kids are half asleep when you try to get them up and get moving. And so that's a challenge. So it's beneficial. The ride itself is relaxing. I was there in May, and Janelle, you can attest to this. From a Floridian standpoint, Janelle told me it was hot. It was probably 90, 91, 92. I rode that thing in the middle of the afternoon one day with 9 people in it. It was not hot. They've engineered that so the airflow is great. It's very comfortable, so you don't have to worry about that. Mr. Keynes, yes. If you are afraid of heights, if you stay at those resorts, bus transport is not available. That's very true.
Correct.
And that is something when I talk to clients that I also ask before we start getting into one of those resorts on the Skyliner. Do you have a fear of heights? If the answer is yes, and you've never been there to see the Skyliner, then I recommend they stay at a non-Skyliner resort for their first trip. Go to the back of Epcot by France, see the Skyliner, see how high off the ground it is. When you're at Hollywood Studios, you can see how high off the ground it goes. Be honest with yourself mentally. Could I handle that height? If the answer is no, then we won't entertain one of those resorts for your next trip. If the answer is yes, then we can open the door for that.
All right. I'm going to swing over to a question that was answered or asked over here, and it's kind of being answered. And so, Crystal, thanks for answering that. So the question was, can you see the fireworks from Fort Wilderness? And so the campgrounds, there is a little beach area where you can watch from the campgrounds. From the Wilderness Lodge, from the cabins on the water, I know you can see them, but anywhere else, is there a way to see them?
So I'm trying to go off of memory here from the dock. When you take the boat from the Magic Kingdom over to Wilderness Lodge and get off at the dock there, I think it's an obstructed view. I think there's some trees there. So you might be able to see the fireworks as they go up over top of the trees, but it's going to be an obstructed view.
Right. Okay. And then definitely you can see them from the campgrounds, from the beach area. So, okay, Crystal said Wilderness Lodge has some firework view rooms. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
some of the rooms, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can't just knock on the door of that person, ask if you can go into their room to watch fireworks.
What? I want to get over to Wilderness Lodge. I think that I'm going to do that before I do the Caribbean, only because there was a new little pony that was born. So
yes,
definitely want to get a hotel tour / pony, baby pony in.
You might be doing that in reverse order, right? We'll see the pony first, and if there's time to look at the resort.
Probably.
There's a couple of really good restaurants in Wilderness Lodge. The Snow White, I can't, I'm drawing a blank the name of it. The Snow White character meal is there. Artist Point, and then Whispering Canyon is another really fun atmosphere.
And good food. Has anybody ever rented a pontoon boat, and do you know how much it costs? So Kayla, I have not personally, and it's something I want to do. The cost is not that much, and I know Mike's looking it up right now, and it's something like maybe $45 for 30 minutes, and Mike's going to give us the exact cost, but overall, a lot of money considering I think you can take up to 8 people. So, Brooke, you're gonna have so much fun at Whispering Canyon. You're scared. Yeah. You're scared of the restaurant, Agatha. We had so much fun. I know Mike had so much fun.
I had more fun than Chris did.
Yeah. Yes. So just go with it and have fun. No one's there to be mean.
So, yeah, it's a great atmosphere. So
yeah. I just want to say too, if you're in here and you're asking questions, like that's what we're doing this for. So if you have too many questions, you can't have too many questions for us. We love it, and we welcome all the questions and answers.
And I'm going to take that comment and get on my platform for a minute. And I'm selling myself, but this is applicable to travel agents. That's one of the values of utilizing a travel agent is let them do all of the heavy lifting to get answers to questions you have so that you're just enjoying the dreaming of your trip. I'll just use very fictitious numbers here. If you go out to Disney's website to price a package trip for you and your family, and let's say it's $3,000 for whatever that number of stays is and resort number of tickets. If you work with a travel agent, you might like myself, it's going to be $3,000. The price you get quoted on the Disney price that we will have quoted, but you're not going to pay the price. The point there is you're paying for a travel agent, whether you use one or not. It's baked into the price. So you're not paying me directly for my services. Disney is paying me as a travel agent based on the commission that they've already got baked into the price. Now, I will say this, most travel agents are free for you to use. We don't charge anything else. I know there are agents out there that do have some sort of concierge fee that they charge for their white glove services or whatever the case may be. But if you work with me, you're not paying me a dime. Hopefully the likes of Brooke and others that are on here that have worked with me will attest to the fact that I will do anything and everything that you need. I'll answer questions from here to Kingdom Come and back without hesitation. And, travel agents, we don't get paid a ton of money. So this is, for me personally, it's more about the love of Disney and wanting to help others enjoy that magic as well.
Right. Okay. Can travel agents book DVC villas?
If there's availability, yes, we can.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of availability to do that. And I'm going to take that, Unicourse, I'll hold your question for a second. I'm going to take that because I get this asked of other people about DVC points. There are rental companies that you can go out and rent DVC points. And again, I'll be just straight up and honest with you. Typically, you will be able to stay at a deluxe resort for about a moderate price if you rent DVC points. The value is tremendous. I won't undersell that whatsoever. But there are risks involved with that. Typically, you have to pay all of it up front. There is no flexibility. If you book for a trip August 1st through the 5th next year, and you rent DVC points and something happens and you need to cancel or change the dates, you are shucks out of luck. Whereas if you book direct with Disney all the way up until the final payment, and even after that, Disney is pretty flexible with you to be able to change dates, cancel, whatever the case may be. Okay. Unicourse, what are some things, what are things someone with kids can do if they go eat at Whispering Canyon while waiting? While waiting. So if you're waiting for your table to be ready, so let's say you've got 5 o'clock reservations and you show up at 4:30 and your table's not ready. First off, the lobby area where the restaurant is massive. You can wander around and look at some of that stuff. You can go out the back and see the pool area and some of the grounds. There's a lot of stuff to just walk around and see. First off, once you get seated,
there's a hidden Mickey scavenger hunt too.
Yes, thank you. Once you get seated at your table, your waiter or waitress is going to take care of the entertainment for your child for the rest of your time there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have questions of, can you book Hilton Head? Can you book Vero Beach?
Can I book those? You know what? Let me
Again,
look.
they're DVC, right?
They are DVC. Let me look. Oh, shoot.
Mike, okay, so I want to just go back while you're looking. And someone, Layla, was saying like she's in the UK and she can't find a lot of travel agent information. So is there just not that much information out there if they don't find someone specifically like you during one of these? Like, do you know what the deal with that is?
I can provide an educated guess as to what it is, but I don't know that I would be giving you a specific answer. So Disney themselves have travel agents that are employees of Disney. So if you call, 1-800-Disney, whatever the number is, you're getting a cast member online on that call that can assist you. And, I know here in the United States, we see plenty of advertisements on TV about Disney vacations and, call Disney at 800, Disney or whatever the phone number is, and you're getting there. I don't work for Disney, so I cannot say I am a Disney travel planner. I am a travel planner that specializes in Disney because I'm not employed by Disney. I'm employed by a third-party travel agency. And I'll, again, being open and honest, that travel agency, frankly, in all honesty, I could book any trip for you. If you wanted to take a cruise to the Bahamas and not a Disney cruise on Carnival, I could technically book that for you. That's not my forte. So I don't necessarily sell myself doing that sort of thing. If you were to call me or email me or message me through TikTok and say, hey, we want to take a trip to X, can you help me? I would probably find somebody within my agency who has the experience and at least at a minimum have them help you. Okay. But I just hand you right to them. Again, for me, this isn't about making money. It's about making magic. And if it's Disney magic, then absolutely, I'll be right there with you all the way through. If it's a trip to Mazatlan in Mexico, I'm probably going to find somebody in my agency who's got experience with that so that you have a great experience with that trip. So, and I can't even remember what your question was.
No, it's okay. Just about in the UK and like how would they find somebody? We would highly recommend going through somebody here on our, platform. If it's not Mike, I know I have other, great people in here. But if your Mike's might not be. He could probably give you a recommendation if that's the case too, or he couldn't help you out with whatever you needed. But with that being said, did you find out about Hilton Head and Vero?
I don't see those in my list to book. So I think those would have to be booked through DVC. I was also looking.
Liz is saying you might have to call. Is that what you're saying, Liz, about those? Because I know Liz does stuff too, travel agent wise. So.
And I was still looking through trying to find the pontoon pricing.
All right, Megan's hopping over to you, Mike. Let's see.
Megan, how are you?
Let's see if she made it over to you. All right, and then Tasha's asked, in 2024 is the next trip. Is the Festival of Fantasy parade always the same? For now it is.
Yeah,
like that's all, right? You want to talk about how something can change with Disney?
Yeah. So now the Festival of Fantasy Parade has been going on for well over 10 years now. I'm sure if I fumbled through my paperwork, I could find when it started, but it's been there a long time. I've not heard a peep about any changes to it, but those things happen. Now, some changes happen overnight and you don't know about it till the next day. Others are big enough fanfare, if you will, that they will provide notification. For instance, the switch over to Happily Ever After, that was very heavily publicized, and we knew that the first date of that was April 3rd, well in advance. When Phantasmic started back up on November 3rd last year, that was pretty well known well in advance. But there are some changes that happen overnight, and you're surprised about it.
Right.
If you ask me right now today, my opinion, will that parade be happening in 2024? Yes.
Yeah. Aren't we supposed to be getting the Main Street Electrical Parade?
Of course we are.
Okay.
The date is TBD.
Okay. Right up there with the Figment meet and greet.
Might actually be after the Figment meet and greet.
Okay.
I saw a clip of like the floats for that parade going through the castle. And it's like, well, first off, those floats can't fit through the castle whatsoever.
Right.
So it was kind of is it a hidden message promotion?
Was that at Disneyland though? Because I would think it could go through the castle at Disneyland.
At Disneyland they could, but it was clearly the Disney World castle that
Okay.
they'd mocked it up to look like it was going through.
Are you tired of the Festival of Fantasy by now? Nah. No, we all have to see if the mime's going to go by or if fire's going to come out. No.
Now, I could watch that parade every single day. I could watch the same fireworks show every day. But sometimes I think, it'd be cool if they could, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it was this parade, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, it was this parade or whatever. Same thing with the fireworks. If on even dates, it was Happily Ever After, and odd dates, it was Wishes.
Right.
That would be pretty cool, but it would be expensive for them to maintain multiple floats, multiple firework apparatus, that sort of thing.
Right. In the back where they keep all the floats and stuff, it's just not that big. And it's big and there's lots of room back there, but it's not enough to house multiple parades or multiple, all the equipment. It's not possible.
Now, I guess rather than having multiple parades at Magic Kingdom, I would rather that they bring back the parades at the other three parks.
Right. At least even a cavalcade at Epcot would be amazing.
I would agree. They've got, well, in one way, you've got a perfect runway for a parade there going around the World Showcase. On the other hand, when that's happening, you can't get around the World Showcase.
Right. All right. So do you have a question? You go with your question.
Agatha commented that she remembered the Epcot parades during COVID times. I'm going back 15, 20 years ago when they had a parade at Epcot. Robbie, I agree. He says we need the electric light parade back.
Yeah. I miss the night parade too, Jenny. So I have a question. Can you enter with food or drink into the parks? And if not, do they check and make sure? You can go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So you may absolutely bring food and drink into the parks. There are some restrictions. You can't bring in bottles. I think coolers have to be of a certain size. You can't bring in, I can't remember your ice has to be contained. They don't want ice cubes being flung around the park type of thing.
No loose ice.
No loose of that. Thank you. So you absolutely can. And that's another feature of working with a travel agent. If you have a tight budget, there are ways and things that we know that can help stretch your dollar. Bringing your own food into the parks, for instance, the free ice water at the parks to keep you hydrated, having food delivered to your resort from Walmart or whatever online food supply place you utilize. Robbie wants to know, why does security stop him with fuel rods? So typically, Robbie, most electronics will set the sensors off. And so what I recommend, and I'm going to use my pen here, pretend this is a fuel rod, but take it out of your carry-on bag or whatever, hold it out as you're walking through so they can see it.
Yeah, Robbie, fuel rods and eyeglass cases. Eyeglass cases will get you stopped too. You just have to hold it out. I mean, I go through the line like this, 2 hands, all of my stuff, gimbal, fuel rods, all that. Mike, just so you know, Liz does say that you should be able to book Hilton and Vero, and if you can't, like, talk to your agency, but you should be able to book them.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Agatha asked if that's the same for a camera, then hold it out in front.
Nope. Cameras, no.
No, they don't set the sensors off. It's like
either does your cell phone. You can keep it in your pocket.
Yes, and I know we talked about the fuel rods, but any kind of, if you have a charging brick, that'll set it off as well.
Yes, any brick, anything like this, it's gonna set it off.
So yeah, just don't bring actual bricks. That's a problem.
Don't. And just to let everybody know, if you hold the fuel rod or whatever right here and you have a bag on and they still think it's near your bag, you're still going to have to go. You have to keep it in arm's length. So 1, they can see everything that's in your hand, and 2, it doesn't alert with the bag wherever your bag is. Don't have your bag hanging on your wrist with this right next to it. You're going to get stopped.
Right. Yeah, Agatha, you can just leave the camera.
Oh, Leia. Yeah, umbrellas too. Umbrellas, eye cases, and fuel rods. So.
Yes. Not a question that's asked, but as you're talking about all these things that you need to hold out in front of you, for whatever reason my brain triggered, you cannot bring wagons into the parks. Strollers are allowed, but wagons are not allowed in the parks.
Right. So I agree, Lori. I think the security questions, like, it's stuff we don't really talk about, and especially when I'm already in the park, we can't take our phones and show you security on the stream. And so a lot of us, we just don't do it.
Hello, Jim. Hello, Kayla. And you're right. I mean, well, first off, my brain went to the fact that you're holding out your fuel rods and your umbrella. How could you be holding onto your phone to even stream as you're walking through? It would be impossible, right? You need 3 or 4 arms sticking out of your body to be able to pull all that off.
Right. Yeah. And now, Jenny, I agree. Like, if you get pulled over, ask security, because I do. I'll be like, what did I do? And I will let you know. Well, most of the time they will tell you, hey, it's this or it's that. And they will let you know so that you know the next time that's what you need to pull out and hold. But I have also gone through and I have everything in my hand and my bag's still alerted. Sometimes it's the little plaque on the lounge fly can be enough for that day. Sometimes I have been actually told by a security guard, it just rained. And that's why, he's like, I don't know, the humidity, so it's all hit or miss. I'm amazed that there's some times that I walk through and I don't ding at all. And I'm like, I have all my stuff and I didn't even go off with it all in my hands.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions here that I'll go to, but Janelle, I assume with you, it's just your magnetic personality setting it off.
Thank you. Right, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. So to the security stuff, Agatha says, so I got mixed answers. So do they have bag checks for everyone, ? Or just walk through? So in the old days, they had 2 lines. If you had no bags, you walk straight through. And if you had a bag, you had to get in line for bag check. Now everybody walks through the metal detector. And if it gets set off, then you're put into a line for them to physically check your bag. And I was going to mention that at Magic Kingdom, if you get there in the morning when everybody on the planet is showing up, and you get flagged through that sensor and have to get in that line, it could take 15, 20 minutes to get through that bag check line. So plan for that. That's the reason why we're talking about the things that we know set off the sensors. Take them out, hold them out in front, away from your bag that's on the back of you, so that they're separated to help avoid.
Everybody's saying this. That's what they're saying. The pins will set it off. I mean, it's all metal.
Yeah. So I guess, Agatha, your question, there are bag check lines. It's a question of whether you set off the sensors when you walk through that security scan. If you don't set them off, then you don't have to get in that bag check line.
Well, and just to make it clear, if you set it off and it's all in your hands and you're holding it out the way that we're telling you to do it, and go through, you do not have to go through the line. And that's how you get out of to the 15-minute line. And then I will also say, generally, there are always two things. I always look on both sides and I see which line has the most people from the bags. And I'll go on the side that doesn't have all the people. So I know if I do get, dinged, I'm going to go to a lesser line.
Yeah.
But you have to be paying attention.
Yep. And so with that, as you said a little bit ago, Janelle, you've walked through and it set off, and the guy's like, it could be the humidity. It could have been that it rained. Technology isn't foolproof, right? You may walk through on day one and it goes off, and you may walk through on day two with the exact same stuff and it doesn't go off. So the most important thing you can do is have your patient pants with you.
Patient pants, yeah.
Be patient and understanding. And understand that human being that tells you to go get in that line, they don't control that sensor that went off. So be respectful and patient and plan ahead. I mean, if your goal is to be there 30 minutes before park open inside the park to row, get through. Yes, Agatha. So hold out those things that you believe may set it off. More often than not, you'll be okay. Unicorn said security will check your stroller as well, which is true. They will do that.
There's a separate line. Only one person and one person with the stroller goes through that line, and then they're allowed to hop in. Once they clear the stroller, the person goes through the metal detector and then grabs the stroller and goes on through. And then the rest of the family goes through without you. So to keep the line moving.
Right. And understand this is all for safety, right? But this still it's a much better process now than it used to be, right? You used to have to go to bag check no matter what you had. You could have had 4 peanut butter sandwiches in your bag and that was it. You still had to go through bag check. So it's better now than it used to be. And it's still far better than TSA at any airport.
Right.
Let's see here. Before I miss it, Kayla asked, if I go 4 to 5 times in 1 year, is it worth it to get a yearly pass? That is an awesome question. When they released annual passes, I started doing the math here. So first off, there are 4 different types of annual passes. However, if you live outside of the state of Florida, there's only one pass, and that's the Incredipass, Pass, and that is like $13.99, if I remember right, $1,400 for the annual pass. I did the math, and I think I would have had to take 3 trips of at least 5 days in the parks to make it worth it if you compare it to pricing of just buying tickets. So if you do go 4 to 5 times a year, as long as it's more than, if you go 4 times and you only go to the park once and that's it, 1 day park, then no. But if you're going 4 to 5 times a year and you're going to the parks 2, 3, 4 times or more in each trip, then I would absolutely say the annual pass is worth it. There are some other advantages you get with it, discounts for meals, discounts on merchandise. There are annual pass holder perks, like Janelle just was it yesterday at Animal Kingdom, got some magnets as an annual pass holder. So it's worth it. But I guess the question you ask is asked in a way that, yes, there is some math involved to determine whether the annual pass is financially worth it or not. For me, like I said, we would have to go at least 3 times for 5 days each. And while that's certainly doable, if you live somewhere where you have to catch a flight 3 times, that becomes pretty expensive then with flying.
Right. So the Inverted Pass is $13.99.
Okay. Yeah, if I lived within an 8-hour drive, we'd probably have annual passes, without a doubt.
Yeah. And I don't know how much merch you'll have to buy for your 20% add up. Again,
yes, that's the other thing. And so if you're money conscious, to say, spend $13.99 to save 20%, that you got to be buying a lot of merchandise for that to benefit you. But if it's solely about going to the parks, if you go 4 or 5 times a year for 3-4 days at a time, just from the cost of getting into the parks, the annual pass is worth it.
Right.
No doubt about it. And okay, so yes, Robbie, you made that comment. I'll circle on that in a second. There are times throughout the year that if you're an annual pass holder, there are resort discounts as well. So there is some advantage there. I'd have to pull it up, but there. Let me see here. I'll get to it while I'm getting to it. So Robbie mentioned it. So yes, if you live inside passes that you have available to you, the highest one is the $13.99. The lowest one I want to say is somewhere in the neighborhood of $500.
$3.99.
$3.99. And the difference between those is blackout dates primarily. The $3.99 one I think is Monday through Fridays only, no holidays. So keep that in mind. If you live,
you can hold up to 3 reservations.
Yeah. So if you're a Floridian, you have available any of those 4 passes. As a Floridian, you can make monthly payments on that annual pass. So $1,400 divided by 12 is $110. Let's just say you're making $110 monthly payments. If you live outside of the state of Florida, you're paying the $13.99 up front. And with that, so today is July 20th. Let's say I decided I want to buy the annual pass. I have the money in my pocket and I buy it today. The annual pass doesn't start today. It starts when you first badge into the park for the very first time. So if I bought it today, but we don't go until Labor Day weekend, September 6th, let's just say, when I badge into the park on September 6th, that's when the clock starts for my 365-day annual pass that I purchased in July. So
and just so you know, Floridians, you have all 4 of them, you have to make a $205 down payment. It's equal for all. So there is a down payment to that, and then your monthly costs. So,
and then, and Janelle, you would know better than I would, but I'm fairly certain that in year 2 when you renew, I don't think it's $1,399. You get a discount.
Yep. And then there's no down payment the second time. It just goes.
Yep.
So, all right, May you know how much the most affordable pass is? Again, the most affordable pass is only available to a Florida resident, and it's $399. And after, it's right here on the screen. So after your down payment, it comes out to $18.33 a month. So for that, which isn't bad at all.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at promotions here. Agatha, I'll read your question here in a second. On any given day throughout the year, there are promotions for almost any time of year. Right now, there are promotions that run up through Christmas Day. Some of them are just straight room discounts that apply whether you live in Florida or live in Nebraska or live in Canada. Doesn't matter. At times they have promotions for discounts off of room rates if you're an annual pass holder. At times they have promotions if you're a Disney Visa Chase card holder. I mentioned that earlier. If you're a Disney Plus subscriber, at times they have discounts. Right now, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, they have saving up to 35% off rooms for select nights October 22nd through November 2nd and November 26th through Christmas Day. So that's another big one. If you're a Florida resident, they have discounts at times. So when you work with a travel agent like myself, and you want to book something, I'm guilty of this. I don't always ask, are you a Visa Chase card holder? Are you a Disney Plus subscriber? I may mention the promotions and hope that you then say, oh gosh, I subscribe to Disney Plus. Actually, I did this with somebody who they'd booked a trip, and this is another good comment. They booked a trip and then a promotion came out. If your trip applies to the promotion that's come out, I can absolutely get you that promotion, even if we've already booked your trip. And in that scenario with somebody, 2 different promotions came out. One was the Disney Plus subscriber up to 35% off. The other was just up to 25% off room rate. They booked on their trip with full price because there was no promotion at the time. Both promotions came out. We sat down and did the math to see how much would they save on just the 25% off, how much would they save on the Disney Plus promotion, understanding that at that day, they were not a Disney Plus subscriber. So the math was to say, okay, this is how much you save with this promotion. This is how much you save with this promotion. Does it make it worth your overall financial perspective to now go out and subscribe to Disney Plus? For them, I think they would have saved an extra $10 in total if they subscribe for Disney Plus, and they're like, it's not worth it. Other people, it's absolutely worth it.
Right.
Early this year, Disney came out with a Disney Plus promotion for their cruise line. And that was probably the best promotion I think I've ever seen for cruises. And it was, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, the first 2 people in your cabin you paid full price for, the next 2 people in your cabin were free. So it was basically buy 2, get 2 free. They had to stay in the same cabin, but man, what a heck of a deal. I mean, Janelle, if they had that deal, you and Tim could buy the cruise, and Lori and I could go for free with you.
I was going to say, who's going to want to come?
Yeah, Lori's screaming in the background.
Lori.
Okay, Agatha, you have 2 here. So can you switch out a scheduled vacation? Passes with an annual pass, no, get refund on tickets. Okay. If you've booked a package, Agatha, and I've actually had this with somebody. They booked a package with me for room and tickets. And then 2 months later, Disney decided they were going to open up annual passes again. They bought annual passes. We canceled their original package, essentially canceled it, and then booked a room-only package with the room-only promotion that was available to them. So absolutely, that you can do that. Disney is very flexible with cancellations. And I'm going to go right into that. So when you book a Disney package, it's $200 down payment deposit. So for argument's sake, you're booking for October of 2024. You want to see Halloween, but it's still 15 months out. $200 deposit holds the trip. You can choose to make payments of any amount in any frequency between now and 30 days prior to your trip. Or you can make no payments, and then 30 days prior to your trip, I will make the final payment, whatever the amount is, less the $200. If at any point in time during that stretch you have to cancel, your $200 and any payments you've made is fully refundable. If at any point in time you need to change the dates of your trip, the amount that you've paid up to that point is still applicable. It's still the same reservation. We would just be changing the dates, understanding that depending upon what dates you change to, there might be a price difference that changes the cost of your trip, and that might change it going up higher. It could be lower. If you're booked October 1st through the 5th for 2024, and the price was $3,000, and 2 months from now you knock on my door and say, hey, we want to change our dates, and your dates are the week of Christmas, obviously the price is going to be higher the week of Christmas than it will be the first week of October.
Okay. So I know we might have already addressed this, but let me just make sure. John just got into the chat. So if you wanted to keep your hotel reservation but remove the tickets because you just got an AP, can you do that?
Yeah, so I'll answer that, and then Agatha, I'll get back to your second question. And again, I had a client that they had booked room and tickets with me, and then they bought annual pass. I worked as a travel agent. I worked and essentially removed the ticket portion of the package. It's the same reservation number, and made it a room-only resort package at that point in time. Now with that one, and this is a good segue, it was actually a case where one of the two people bought an annual pass. So I had to change their room plus ticket package to a room only package, which was easy to do. And then we had to buy tickets separately for the second person in that package or in that trip. When you buy tickets to Disney independent of your rooms, you do have to pay for the tickets in full up front. It's not a $200 down payment for ticket only. Those you have to pay in full. But if you're packaging room and tickets together, you can do the down payment and make payments along the way. Agatha asked back on Disney Plus, can you buy Disney Plus for 1 month during your trip and end it right after? So when you book, so for instance, right now, Agatha, the Disney Plus subscriber, it's save up to 35% on rooms during the holiday season. If you were to knock on my door and say, hey, we want to take a trip and we'd like to go the first week of December and we are Disney Plus members, part of what you're providing me is your email address that is your subscription email to Disney Plus. I have to provide that within the booking so that they can verify it. You must be a Disney Plus subscriber when you check into your resort. When you come home the day after your trip, if you want to cancel Disney Plus, knock your socks off. There's no penalty there. They want to make sure you're a subscriber at the point in time you book the trip and you're still a subscriber as you take your trip. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, that's a good loophole.
Yep. Kayla asked, do you think staying at a hotel like Hilton would ruin the Disney experience? And then Megan asked a question too.
Okay.
So Kayla,
I have questions as well.
Okay. I'll be honest with you, Kayla. I have never stayed at what's called a good neighbor hotel at Disney. I've stayed off property before. But here's my 2 cents worth. If you're asking if it'll ruin the Disney experience, those hotels typically are not Disney immersive, like staying at Art of Animation, for instance. You don't have quite the same theming. Can it be a magical stay? Absolutely. If you have your own transportation, then obviously you have to manage that, right? As far as, and this is where I always stay on property. At the end of a long park day, the last thing I want to have to do is get behind the wheel of my car and drive with traffic when I'm an out-of-stater. So the Disney transportation makes it valuable for us. From what I understand, and don't quote me on this, the buses do run, there's transportation, like the Jury Inn, for instance, is a Good Neighbor Hotel. They have transportation that will take you to and from the parks. It's not as frequent as a Disney bus going to All-Star Music, for instance. It's there, but it's not as frequent. So you might have to wait longer for a bus to go back, or in the morning, longer for a bus to go. So keep that in mind. So it really, I guess, Kayla, it comes down to what's most important. If it's solely dollars and cents, then we would look at the price for the value resorts and compare it to the Good Neighbor resorts. Jury Inn, I like to use that example because they have free breakfast in the morning and they have a manager reception in the evening that you get drink coupons, and it's almost like a buffet spread. So you can save a heck of a lot of money by being fed for free as part of your room rate at the Jury Inn, if that matters to you. If being Disney immersive matters to you, then I would always recommend one of the Disney properties, resorts on property. Transportation is something else you have to factor in.
And I will say too, on that, just like the what you're weighing, the costs if the buses don't run as frequently and you end up having to take an Uber because you stayed up, but yet you saved on your dinner. You know what I mean? I've stayed, and I know Megan has been at the Wyndham. Robbie was just at the Drury. I've experienced both of these hotels with them. And I will say that the downside for me is not the rooms or not the location. It's the buses. I mean, Megan at the Wyndham had to schedule it. She had to like sign up for it. And then again, I was with Robbie and we were going back to the Drury for dinner and we missed the bus. Like the bus didn't wait not even a minute and we had to get an Uber, so but I've stayed at the Swan and Dolphin, and I know those aren't good neighbors. Those are something else, like the Swan and Dolphin, the Swan Reserve. And then you get all the Disney transportation with those as well. But again, and then keep in mind, all those buses, they don't go where the Disney buses go. They go to the TTC. Same with the Swan and Dolphin, all of that. You still have to get transported to the TTC, and then you go over on the Disney transportation, the monorail or the ferry to get over to Magic Kingdom. At least that's the way it is for Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
So,
and with that, so in the morning, you're taking that bus, getting dropped off at the Ticket and Transportation Center. You either then have to take the monorail around to the front of Magic Kingdom or take the ferry boat over. If you're staying on resort property, you're taking a bus, but it's dropping you off near the front entrance to the park. So you'll get into the park a little bit faster, or you have to leave a little bit earlier if you're at a Good Neighbor hotel to get there at the time that you want. And I don't know, and I'm sure each one of those Good Neighbor hotels, they're all independent, so they do their own thing. How early before the park opens do they run? I don't know. Each place is going to be different. They might only run the buses 30 minutes before the park opens, and you're not getting there quite as early. And if you ever follow Janelle's lives, you'll know you can get into Magic Kingdom about an hour before the park actually opens so that you can go down Main Street and get pictures of the castle and things like that. If you're staying at a Good Neighbor hotel, their buses might not get you there that early, and you may not get that much enjoyable. So Robbie says the morning buses are okay at Drury. Every 15 minutes, buses back were every hour. Yeah. So again, if you have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old with you, and you've been at the park all day long, you have to weigh that in. Do you want to wait up to an hour to get on a bus?
Okay, I do have some questions. I don't know. Did we answer yours?
I'll just go back real quick. The only question that I didn't get to, Megan asked, can you book Disneyland Paris? Absolutely, yes, Megan. And I think what her question actually is can I book Disneyland Paris for her, me, and you, Janelle? I think that's what she meant to say. She just didn't get all of that out.
Hey,
right.
What about me?
I'm pretty sure I was included in that. She just wanted to keep the question short so it would get answered.
Yeah. So DC London said, I don't understand why Disney property doesn't have more rooms that fit family members of 5. So there are suites at Art of Animation. There are suites at All Star Music. The Caribbean Beach Resort has rooms that sleep 5. They have a 5th sleeper that pulls down. We've been in that room before. It's really nice. And then you've got some of the properties that have 2 and 3 bedroom suites that can accommodate more people. They're a little more expensive though. For a family of 5, I think your 2 most affordable options would either be a suite at All Star Music or the 5th sleeper option at Caribbean Beach. And Megan said yes, by the way, Janelle. So
okay, I knew. No, we didn't have to ask her.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to John, I don't know if he's still here, but he was the one that asked the annual pass and the tickets and so forth. And he just wanted to know, when you, do you have to get the reimbursement on your own beforehand or at the park only?
The reimbursement.
I guess, or I guess he's saying if they want to buy the annual pass, do they do it beforehand or do they do it at the park? If they already have their tickets.
So they've already bought tickets.
Correct. With their hotel.
So if you've worked with a travel agent, I would absolutely contact them and see if they can get that taken care of. If you book directly with Disney yourself, then yes, when you get down there, although if you have time, I would call and see if they can assist you over the phone ahead of time. Simply because if you wait till you get down there, you could be in line with people that are asking 50 different things, and you may lose an hour or two of your morning when you get there. So I would always try to call ahead of time and try to get that rectified. But if you've not made full payment yet, you can, and you book directly with Disney, call Disney and they can modify your package for you and get the price adjusted for you so that the correct final payment amount is what you would be paying. You wouldn't be overpaying at that point. And if you've booked with a travel agent, by all means, contact them. And again, this is just another selling point of using a travel agent, that let them spend the time on the phone instead of you. Let them work to get your package adjusted, whatever the case may be.
Okay. I have, how does purchasing park hopper work?
I'm sorry, I was reading the question that just came across and I heard park hopper.
How does purchasing a park hopper work?
Okay, so the park hopper is an add-on feature to your park ticket, and it allows you to, as it's titled, hop from one park to another. Currently at Disney World, through this year, you have to have park reservations. So you would have to have a reservation, say, for the Magic Kingdom for tomorrow morning. You have to badge into the park you have the reservation for. And then anytime after 2 p.m. Florida time, you can park hop to another park. And you can park hop to all 4 of the parks if you wanted to throughout that park day. But you cannot hop until 2 p.m. The park hopper add-on is for the entirety of your park ticket package. So if you have a 5-day park pass, you're buying park hopper, and it's applicable for all 5 days of your park.
And it is not a separate ticket. It just it gets attached to your current ticket.
That's right. It's an add-on. Robbie, have a good day. Thanks for joining, buddy.
Yeah. So it's nothing separate. You don't have to have 2 cards or anything like that.
Right. That's right.
When you go to scan in, it just allows you in. If you don't have park hopper, when you go to scan in, it's just going to be blue, and they're going to say, you can't come to this park.
And then you'll be blue.
Correct.
And so I don't think we've had a question about this, but watching each one of us do the scan in thing. Magic bands, Magic Band Plus. Do I need them? Don't I need them? Are they still free? I see those questions all the time. So pre-COVID, when you booked a package, you got the Magic Bands shipped to you for free. And part of the process through the My Disney Experience app was selecting which color you wanted for you and your spouse.
It's so fun.
Absolutely. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. You no longer get those for free. However, if you have them from a previous trip, they still work. When we were there in May, the Magic Bands that Lori and I used were the ones from a previous trip. So if you have them, you can utilize them. If you don't have them and want them, you can typically go online and purchase them through Disney, and some of them will be as little as $10 per band. That's the straight Magic Band. That Magic Band will allow you to use it to scan into the parks. I wish I had one with me, but I mean, it's about the same size as Janelle's. Up on my bed.
I don't have one. Mine's charging in the other room, and I don't have. They're all hanging in our other room.
Lori's grabbing one of the Magic Bands right now, but that straight Magic Band will be your way to get into the park. You'll scan it. It'll be your way to get into your resort room. You can have charging privileges on it so that you're buying your merchandise and scanning that, and it will charge to the Visa card that you have on file, or MasterCard, whatever it is. So that's the traditional Magic Band that always existed, and here comes Magic Band. So this is
that. I'm gonna go get my Plus.
Okay. All right. She's gonna grab her Magic Band.
She's gotta one up me because I don't have a Plus.
That's right. Well, so the Magic Band itself costs on a low end $10. I think on the high end maybe $20, $25. Some of them are a little fancier. I mean, this is just a straight kind of a lavenderish color. Janelle,
we can hold them up and
show
that they look very similar. Mine is probably a little thicker because this has lights in it. And the only difference in these two is this lights up and it goes along with fireworks and other shows, and there's statues around the parks that buzzes and goes off, and you can make the statues talk to you. Other than that, they both do the same thing. You can tap in, you get into the parks, you can pay, and that's it. And if this dies, this has to be charged every single day. Mike's doesn't. And I would say that there's in between a $10 and $15 difference in the cost of each one of these. Mike's is way less than this. Yes. And
these are about 10 to 20, and I think those run 30 to 50, somewhere in that neighborhood.
It does, yeah. It just depends on if they're special edition.
And so,
Brandon, you know, I wish I remembered. I am a bad charger. I have told you guys that this thing has to be charged every single day. You have to bring your charger with you to your hotel, and it has to be put on the charger. But if it dies, you can still access your room key, your park ticket, and payment. Yeah. It acts as a regular Magic Band. It just will not have the fancy lights and go along with the show.
Right. And I was going to comment on that. If you're somebody who has sensory issues, that might not be a good option. Having that thing buzzing frequently with different things that set it off.
I agree with that. Or you'll be walking through the park and it's just buzzing, and you're like, "What am I supposed to be paying attention to?" You know, and you're just walking by a statue. You know, you just get used to it. I think it is cool when you're coming out of the Haunted Mansion, you know, you have, it lights up and the heart beats, you know, you get dum dum, dum dum, stuff like that are the added features to it. But again, it's not necessary.
Right.
And I can go on a whole spiel on how I only use my Apple Watch, and you don't need that at all. So,
yeah. So I want to, I'll comment on the Magic Band Plus. To me, it's a luxury item, right? It's not a have to have. And when you get into that, if you don't have this isn't a have to have. Nope. You can go and not have a Magic Band at all. And if you've been to the park 20 years ago, you got a little plastic credit card that
I'll grab mine.
Was your room key, and it was your pass to get into the park. They still provide those free of charge if you don't have a Magic Band and don't wish to purchase a Magic Band. If you get there and decide you want a Magic Band, each one of the resort gift shops sell them as well. You can always go in and get one there. Janelle's going to get her pass card. And then, Kayla, if you're still with us, I still have your question that you asked.
That's a card. This was my mom's card for 4th of July.
Yep, there you go. So that's still an option.
And,
you do not have to buy these.
No, you don't. All you do is ask a cast member.
Yes. So the Magic Band Plus is a luxury. This is a nice to have, but neither are a must have.
Okay.
I want to go back. Kayla asked, she said, "You may not know the answer, but do you know anything about Disney College Program? What is it exactly?"
Okay.
I don't have a lot of experience with it. I can tell you what I think it is. But
I mean, I have some knowledge of it because the girl, Hannah, wants to do DCP. And that's the Disney College Program. And what it is a 6-month residency that you apply for with Disney. I don't know a lot of the pros and the cons. And if you are in the park, I highly recommend is what Hannah does. And she talks to every single cast member that has a college under their name and asks them, do they think the Disney College Program is worth it? And I have really never come across one that says, you shouldn't do it. They all love it. They all have a great time doing it. I would just really look into it. And I say this because I've met some cast members that work at Mine Train and only get one day off and live with 4 people and you have roommates, and there's so many things to it like that, that it might not be for you. But if you want to come and take a semester off at, at Disney, which you can do it up to 1 year after your senior year. So you don't have to do it during your actual stay. You can graduate and still enter into the Disney College program. That I do know. And then, like I said, there's rooms. There is boarding, and you pay for it. Disney does not pay for it. It comes out of your paycheck. And I just say, do your research. Just do your research and make sure it's for you. And I know they talk about it a lot. Pre-COVID, you could really select where you wanted to go. Where if you were in marketing, you really were looking for a position through the DCP in marketing. And that's not the case anymore. The case is they need people everywhere. And so you have to be okay with getting janitorial. And again, Hannah has talked to people in custodial or all over, and they just say, don't be scared of any of the possibilities that Disney could give you, that it's a wonderful experience. And I don't know if Disney has paid them to say that, or if, I don't know. Like I said, we've never run into a person that said, it's not the greatest. So,
you said a couple words that really, I think, tied correctly. It's like an internship. I was in my head, I was kind of thinking it's akin to doing study abroad, but you're not actually taking courses and you're not getting college credit during that 6-month period. It's really a sabbatical from college for a semester.
Yep.
While you're getting work experience, life experience that will benefit you for years to come.
Yep. And again, you can stay. I've met so many cast members that they were like, I was DCP and I wanted to stay, and they're working. Izzy's one of them. And they wanted to stay, and they were able to find a job, and they stayed, and they're still going to college, and then they get a job and they go into the Inspiration, wherever Disney pays for your college. So, and so forth. So that was their route into it, is that they just stayed, ended up working, and they do their college online now and stuff like that. So like I said, it's great stepping stones for if you really want to work for Disney or have that Disney name on a resume.
Absolutely.
Is, I think, what a lot of them go and do. And that's the purpose.
Absolutely. Jessica said that her cousin Bella is part of the college program.
Oh, that's right. Bella, that's right. We're always looking for Bella. Haven't found her in the Emporium. All right, let's see. Jamie wanted to know, the Magic Band, is it interactive with, I don't know if Megan's still here, but she's the one that asked. So Disneyland just got Magic Bands. They didn't have Magic Bands for the longest time, and they just got them. And I'm pretty sure I can take but they only used Magic Band Plus, no regular ones. So you have to have a Magic Band Plus to go to Disneyland, and I'm pretty sure it is interchangeable between Disneyland and Disney World.
I'm looking that up.
Scuba says he gets the card. He's not fancy yet. That's right, Scuba. You just get the card. Lori has 134 days left for her vacation. I know somebody else had. Christina's at 83. And Lori and Liz, let's see, if you plan on buying one, it's cheaper with the package instead of buying it at the parks, the Magic Bands.
Yeah. I agree
So,
with that.
And then Lori asked, should you set it up? Lori, I would definitely set it up and charge it and everything if you can before you get there. And you can go in the My Disney Experience app, and there's a whole section for the Magic Band in there. You can sync it to Bluetooth. You can change the color. It tells you your charging on it and so forth. I would just set it all up. I would try to do it if you can. Either buy one on my Disney, Shop Disney, or have somebody get you one and set it up before you get to the park. But remember your charging cord.
Absolutely.
All right.
Jessica mentioned that her cousin is no longer at the Emporium.
Oh, that's right. Bella's not. That's why we haven't seen her. Okay. You can use it both. Thank you, Liz, for you can use the Magic Band Plus at both Land and World.
Just the Plus, not a regular Magic Band.
Yep, the Plus, not the regular one.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. I feel like I think I'm at the end of my questions. We might have skipped some, and I'm sorry if we did. And a lot of people said we've done a great job, Mike, just so you know, on my end. They've really enjoyed. It's been very beneficial. Is Magic Key worth it, or the annual pass? Like, Magic Key is the same as the annual pass, and that would be up to each individual and how many times you plan on going, and what the cost figures out for you, and can you afford the travel, I think, is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So,
and again, now you're getting into finances, and that's a delicate subject for everybody, but in general terms, I would tell you this, don't sell yourself on the annual pass because you get 20% off merchandise and food. I mean, that means you're paying 80% for merchandise and food that you weren't paying for if you didn't have it. So you can sell yourself any way you want.
Yeah. Magic Key is not like our annual pass either. The lower the key, the less discount you get.
Right.
So, you only might be getting 10% off of merch or anything else. Even the parking, I think, is not the same, whereas we get free parking. And you have to buy the highest key to even get 20% off the merch. Mm-hmm. So.
But again, if you're trying to do simple math, it's how many park days do I need to go to make the $1,400 investment worth it versus if I just bought park tickets to go. Right. Do that math. The percentage off for merchandise or food, just consider that a fringe benefit.
Okay, so does Mike book flights? The answer is no. Or does he only include the reservations in the park? Yep, only that. And then annual pass is Disney World. Magic Key is Disneyland.
Right. So to that question, I can book Disney World, Disneyland, cruises. I can do Alani in Hawaii, Adventures by Disney. I can do all that stuff. Flights you take care of. I can book your transportation from airport to resort and back. I'll book your dining reservations, any added things like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, those things. I can do that for you as well.
And Tokyo, you can do all parks, right?
Yes. We can handle all of that. And I'm as flexible as you want me to be. I have some people that say, I want you to, if I could go to their house and pack their suitcase for them, they'd like me to do that. That's how much they want me to do for them. I have other people that are like, once it's booked, I'll handle reservations. I like to be hands-on with that stuff. That's perfectly acceptable. I will never go pack your suitcase, though. Let's be clear about that.
Are you sure? Like, not even for like an extra tip or anything?
Well, I suppose if Megan's taking you and I to Paris, then maybe I would do that.
Okay, there you go. That's the spirit. So, okay. And then John's asking, which I did answer, but you can elaborate. Can you do half Magic Kingdom or half Disney World and half Universal?
Yes, absolutely. We can do split stays. I've had people that they'll stay their entire time, say, at a Disney resort, but half of their time they're going over to the Universal parks. I have some people that are staying at Disney resorts for that part of the stay, and then they pack up and they go over to one of the Universal resorts. Absolutely, we can do all that stuff for you.
Okay. If it's your first time at Tokyo Disney, how many days do you recommend to go, or can you do it in one day?
Total transparency, I've never been. So my answer is going to be based on the experience I have at Disney World. I've been to Disney World, I don't know, 50 times, and I still haven't seen and done everything. So I would probably tell you 2 days. I mean, if you're going that far, you probably want to make the most of it and go more than 1 day for sure.
Right. I'm going to ask, I said, I don't think so, and Brandon asked this question. He thinks he knows the answer, but do you do Busch Gardens and SeaWorld?
No.
I said no. Yeah.
Let's see here. Kayla asked, is there transportation that would take you from Disney Resort to Universal? Universal does have shuttles that they will come and pick you up. Uber or Lyft is probably your best option for speed.
Yeah. Phone a friend. I don't know.
I think that friend's changing their number after this call. Hey,
yeah. Yeah. I definitely Mears Taxi, Uber, Lyft. One of those, that's how you would have to do it.
Yeah, there are a number of different transportation options. Anybody who's wishing that they would come back with Magical Express, I don't know that I'd hold your breath for that.
Did you see that Mears and whomever are joining?
Yes, Mears and Sunshine Flyers are merging.
Oh, that's it, Sunshine Flyer. I always forget the name of that.
Yeah, okay. And like anything else in our daily lives, I could line up 1,000 people and ask them about Sunshine Flyer, and you get mixed emotions. Some love it, some hate it. Same thing with Mears. Right. So it's, again, it's like that walking into the park in the morning and there's 50,000 people all trying to get in at the same time. Just be patient, be flexible, be understanding. Things happen. When I was there in May, we had a couple folks that were using the Minnie Mouse vans on property, and there was a car accident in one of the only ways to get to the resort they were at, and so those mini vans had to go out and route to a different way to get in, and it delayed things by 30 minutes. I mean, stuff happens, right?
Right.
So
Brandon,
Emily asked if the Disney still has the buses from the resorts to the parks. Absolutely, Emily. So as part of staying on property, your transportation from your resort to the Disney parks is included. That transportation will vary based on where you're staying. If you're staying in the Contemporary and the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, you will have the monorail access to get you to the Magic Kingdom. You can also take the monorail from those resorts to the Ticket and Transportation Center and then get on a different monorail that will take you to Epcot. You would have bus service that would get you to Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. If you're staying at Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach Resort, and Riviera, you would have the Skyliner as your mode of transportation to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios. You would have buses to Magic and Animal Kingdom. The other resorts primarily have bus service to the 4 parks. I say primarily because you've got a few of the resorts that have boat service to Hollywood Studios and or Epcot.
Okay. John, I think he just answered your question, which is, in addition to the Skyliner, are there buses? And no, if the weather is perfect and everything, you have to take the Skyliner. Same with the monorail at the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and Contemporary. The monorail or walking is there's no other buses.
There you do have the boat option from the Magic Kingdom to Grand Floridian.
Yeah, the boat, right.
Yes, and walking is an option.
Right. But and Brandon wants to know if you'll drive him from the airport to the resort.
Absolutely.
He wants you, specifically you.
I will do that, and I'll be driving Janelle's car.
I was going to say, I feel like Mike will have to come down here, become an Uber driver, and I'll have to lend him my car. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. But back to the Skyliner Resorts, Janelle's absolutely right. As long as the weather is good, Hollywood Studios and Epcot, you can only get there via Skyliner. There are no buses that operate to those two parks when the weather is good. If the weather is deemed unsafe to be in the Skyliner, then there will be bus service to those two parks, to and from those resorts.
Yeah, and I guess I should have said about the monorail. If you're going between Epcot and Magic Kingdom, that's the only transportation, unless the weather is bad. There, you don't have another option, or Uber or Lyft. But Disney transportation, the monorail would be the only way. So if you don't want to be on the monorail and you want to take a bus, it's not an option. And John, he said, my kid is scared of heights, and evidently the boat should take the boat. Yeah. So if the heights is the problem, which we spoke about earlier, you should consider a different resort. It just wouldn't work out.
Absolutely. So, John, to that point, depending upon the fear of heights, that would eliminate both the Skyliner and the monorail, right? Because the monorail is up off the ground as well. Keep that in mind. But you just triggered me something else, Janelle. Your child might be afraid of water as well. So keep that in mind if you're at a resort where your mode of transportation is a boat, say from Wilderness Lodge over to the Magic Kingdom. If your child is deathly afraid of water, keep that in mind as well. And those are things that are good conversations with your travel agent to understand what resort is best for you. And by saying that, I thought about this earlier. Janelle, I know you get this question asked on your lives. I get it asked of me. What's the best time of year to go? Well,
someone asked. Yeah. May or October.
I read
May or October.
Okay, so that's different. If you just solely ask what's the best time to go, my answer is going to be based on what your definition of best is. Is it lowest crowds? Is it the weather? Is it theming at the parks? Is it, around a school schedule? I mean, there's a number of different ways you could slice that question if you simply ask it that way. Now, if the question is May or when?
October, I believe. I'm picking October.
You're picking October? Yes, I would too.
Well, because the decorations.
Yes.
I like the park when it's decorated and in a different light, because I guess again, myself, I see it the same every single day. So when it changes just a little bit, I love that, so.
And it also depends upon which part of each of those months you're asking about. If it's the very last week of May, I would say no, because it's Memorial Day weekend.
And October. October.
Yep, Memorial Day weekend is going to be busy. School is out. If it's the last week of October, probably not, because it's Halloween and it's busier. However, I would say the last week of October is likely still less busy than the last week of May, because school is in session by then. One factor you need to consider though is October is pretty much smack in the middle of Atlantic hurricane season. So that's always something to keep in mind. Now, we were there, Lori and I were there last October. We've been there in September and October in the past. Knock on wood for us, we've never run into that problem. I do remember a year I was there for business, and a colleague and I, our conference ended and we had the next day all to ourselves. And we decided, hey, let's go to one of the parks. And then we caught a flight that evening. Lori knows I pay attention to the weather, so she didn't worry about it. But his spouse was texting and calling him hourly because a tropical storm was coming, and she wanted us to get an earlier flight, and we didn't. The rain was hitting the windshield of the plane as we were going down that runway. So we got it out of there probably 30 minutes before we might have been shut down. So keep that in mind too.
Right. And I know I talked about it on the live the other day. Again, hurricanes. I think Disney, even like last year and the year before, maybe you can touch on this, is very accommodating in like you losing a park day. If you have to ride it out, let's say you get there and the storm comes at the beginning of your vacation, yes, you're going to lose probably one one full day of being in the park that they're going to close, or you can't go out, or you don't want to go out. But if I could stress any more, then it is a lovely time to be in the park the day before a hurricane or the day after a hurricane, because everybody has scattered. And those of us who hunkered down and waited it out and just stayed in the Disney hotel. And again, I think Disney goes above and beyond to make sure everybody is fed, taken care of, safe, and entertained during that time, that the 12-hour, 15-hour period of time that this hurricane is passing by. It's worth it to me for you just to stay hunkered down and not feel like you need to disperse the area.
And I think that the important thing there is just be weather aware, first off, right? The beauty of tropical season is they can typically project that stuff out a week to 10 days, 2 weeks prior to it happening. Whereas, Janelle knows this, you have thunderstorms almost every day through a good part of the year down in Florida. There is no warning that a funnel cloud could spin up in one of those thunderstorms and come down. I mean, it's an element of where you live in that part of the country that those things can happen, but be weather aware. And you're right. Disney is very, very accommodating. They do a great job of taking care of their guests when you are resort bound for the day. And usually, first off, I think Disney's closed maybe a handful of times in its history because of tropical weather. So when you think about 365 days a year times 52 years that park's been open, and it's maybe 3 or 4 times it's closed for a tropical storm or hurricane, your odds are pretty good that you're not going to be impacted. On the handful of times that they did close, if you're staying on the Disney property, one of the resorts, they did a great job of providing entertainment. I think some of the resorts, I can't swear to all of them, but some of the resorts, they had characters that came out and greeted kids inside the lobbies. So they do a really good job of taking care of you in that way.
Yeah, I had a friend who worked, and she was in charge of ordering food for the resorts. And when a hurricane would come, what they had to go through to make sure everybody was fed was it's incredible. It's just incredible what Disney thinks about to make sure that their needs will be met while they're, resort bound. And then somebody did touch on having travel insurance, and, we spoke about that last week. And, again, that's an individual preference, and definitely read into everything and what it would cover and all of that, but it's definitely an option.
Absolutely. That's right. Be weather aware, understand that technically from June to November is hurricane season in the Atlantic. It's really more August to October is more of the peak, and September I think is the absolute peak month. But again, I've been down there several times in that window. Never had a problem. Our Disney cruise was in October, never had a problem. So I wouldn't shy away from that time of year just because that is an added element. Back to your May and October question, I would pick October over May every day of the week. It's not quite as hot in October. It can still be hot during the day, but the evenings and mornings are much more comfortable.
They're nicer.
May it's pretty warm regardless of morning, day, evening. And then you just get the added benefit of the Halloween decorations there. Even if you don't go to one of the Halloween party at the Magic Kingdom, you still get the Halloween experience with the decorations. Right.
And I feel like we can take note to discuss next week, if we're going to do this next week, the time differences coming up with the parties, what to be aware of and stuff like that. I know we've already been talking for 2 hours and we're going to, get going. But again, we should make note, that's something once we get closer to it next week in August, we'll start discussing how do parties impact your stay. If you're there and you didn't realize there was going to be a party, how should you go about it? I think that's a really good topic.
Yes. And there are multiple answers to that, right? I mean, I know your thought about being in the park the day of a party.
Correct.
party.
Right.
And I can spin that a couple different ways as well to maximize your experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be
So
a great.
I definitely think it's a good topic for next time. And I do think like going through this, you booked Jenny for Mickey's Not So Scary. Yay. And thank you, Lauren, about the Loungefly. But I don't know if it's possible for us to take one of these sessions and take one subject, say maybe a party, and only talk about it for 30 minutes, and that's the only thing we're going to talk about, you know?
Well,
I mean, I think that's just a good little side thing to do. I don't know if that's possible with us, but
I appreciate you saying us and not just pointing at me.
no, us. My mind is out there like that too. And all somebody has to do is ask a question, and I'm off on a different branch, Yeah.
But I also like that too, because somebody's question, as we're answering it, tends to spur 5 other questions.
Yep. Yeah.
And so sometimes it's kind of fun. It's like, this blank piece of paper is the map that we just had for today's call. Yeah. And it took us 45 different places, which is pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah, we can certainly try to do a specific topic and try to stick to that. That would be fun as well.
Right. Like I said, I mean, I feel like there's so many of those, whether it's just Genie Plus, just DAS, just a party. I mean, there's so many of those. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I mean, we could talk for at least 2 hours about how to maximize Genie Plus and how to utilize it and things like that.
Right, absolutely. So I feel on my side, everybody is great info. I think me being at home really helped too with, being focused and being able to read everybody's questions and stay engaged and not be in the park. So I think that this is definitely something everybody enjoyed a lot.
Yeah. So maybe we could do like an 8-hour one when you're driving to Maryland.
Oh, so next Tuesday. So my mom doesn't drive at all. Like she does. She's able to drive. However, I don't allow her. And so I would say I'm not going to multitask. But
we can do an 8-hour. It's a Mike and Mom session then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could try it. We could try it. No, I know. But no, I definitely can put aside time for next Wednesday as well. And then, like I said, I think people could learn from just a tiny session, quick session of this is what it's going to be. And maybe that turns into like our nighttime one, Mike, of saying like, hey, on Tuesdays, this is going to be the topic. Send in your topic if you have a topic, and we only address that.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So,
everybody. Instead of TED Talks, it'll be Tuesday Talks.
Yeah, there you go. So this is Mike Disney Travel, right? Mike right. Disney _travel.
Mike Disney Travel. Yep.
And how are the ways that people can contact you?
Okay, so if you go to my profile in TikTok, my email address is there. You can also direct message me through TikTok. Janelle is pointing. She's better at this than I am. I can point. I don't know if it's the right way. I'll do this. How about that? I got it.
There you go.
Pick a direction, either direction. I can recite my email address if anybody has pen and paper wants to scribble it down. But again, my email, there's a link to my email in my profile in TikTok. There's also a quote form that is there. If you want to send in a quote, you can do that. I'm sure if you don't think of it and message Janelle, she would get.
And then somebody did just bring up a good point, and I will be doing it, but this live will be downloaded and I will put it on YouTube so that it will live on YouTube. All this information that we talked about today will go over to YouTube.
Can you add some filters so I look better?
Yeah. Yep. You just wait to see what I do.
Yes.
The editing.
Yes. Try the 30-year-old man filter. See how I look.
Have you seen that filter that people are doing? And it's like on top, they turn old, and on the bottom, like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what it could be.
Literally, I've had that turning old filter on for a long time now. I didn't realize that was a thing. I can turn that off.
Yeah, I have Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and it's all Disney Parks with Love. I'm going to try to get this one over here to get on the YouTube train, so we can, again, do another long form kind of thing over there as well, and start working on both of the platforms, just so that this information can live out in the world for a longer period of time, and it's not just this short snippet here on TikTok. So, but John, yeah, if you'll follow over on YouTube, I will be posting this over there. All right. So,
and Jessica said she posted in your chat for my email.
Okay. Oh, the Discord. Okay. And in my chat, was it there?
Well, she says I posted
in Discord
chat for your email, so I don't know what she.
Okay. One of the things that Mike and I will work on too is that I know he has a form. Maybe you have a form, and maybe we can put that form in my link tree. And then you would just have to go to my link tree and it'll go to him. And then we can do that too. So that's another way that you'll be able to get in touch with him, and it can just be, you don't have to go find him, or if you forget and click off of here because your dog needed to go out, you can still come back and find it somehow. So we'll brainstorm and work on that. And again, I have Discord, Instagram, and YouTube, and you can contact me on here, TikTok as well. If you need to know Mike's information, I will get it to you. So, yeah. I think that's about it.
I don't have any more questions on my end.
Nope. I think we're good. I feel like, 2 hours we did people in. So I'm going to go spend a couple hours with Chase until I take him to the airport, and I will see everybody else. I'm guessing, like I said, 3:00. I'm doing the Mike way today, and I'm getting him to the airport a little bit early because it's summer and traffic, and I'm going to go make sure that this kid gets on the plane.
Hey, this for another topic
Okay.
About your airport. TSA pre-check versus clear, I think, is the other service. We should talk about that too.
Okay. I feel like, again, maybe in Discord we can put a topic area and just start rattling them off.
Yeah, I like that idea too. And that gives people an avenue to provide their suggested topics.
Yep. What they want to hear about, and not just what we think or what's relevant or something like that. Because again, I know the biggest thing for me is that I forget that somebody could be new coming into this and want to hear it. And we might think that they already know the information, and it needs to be said repeatedly.
Yeah. And to that comment, if you're on here right now and going to Disney, you've never been before, the sooner we can plan, the better. I'm not saying that I can't do something if you wanted to go in the middle of August next month. We can absolutely do that. But the sooner you can plan, the sooner we can book, the more time we have to work together to answer all your questions, have dialogue that you might then think of questions you would have never thought of before. It provides you more flexibility. It provides more flexibility in the resorts that are available and the room types that are available. So yeah, if you're brand new to going to Disney, the sooner we can plan, the better the experience will be for you.
All right, Wanda, the Discord link is up here at the Disney Parks with Love. It's in the Linktree bio. Just click on the thing up here, and then Scuba, yeah, the little bottles, Coke bottles from Star Wars, they will get you stopped in TSA. We're going to save all of that for next time. Thank you, everybody. We will keep talking if we don't put a stop to it. So, and Wanda, if the link for Discord doesn't work, just send me a DM and we'll get you set up. Bye, everybody. I will see you in a couple hours.
Have a safe trip to the airport, Janelle.
All right. Bye, Mike. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.